right, go ahead and raise your hands, and I will get you the mic.
Hey, John, you ever walked it off with a bunt before? When's the last time that happened for you?
Double A, 2018, safety squeeze, gunner height, Andrew Guillotte at third.
So they're clearly memorable moments when they happen.
Yeah. Not that way, though. That was first and third safety squeeze. But, yeah, I mean, didn't really – I didn't think in my managerial career I was going to pinch hit Vlad knowing he was going to get walked to get to Heine there. But you take your chances with the bases loaded there. So impressive part was after 4 straight balls, Ernie just sticking his nose in there and getting down a perfect bunt. So bunting competition pays off. Bud had him out there early today, too, so it was pretty good.
When you look at this win, it felt a lot different than a lot of the Yankees wins that were more back and forth. What does that show you about your team winning in different ways, different days in a row?
Yeah, we've been doing that quite a bit, I feel like. And, again, we talked about it earlier. I think easy to kind of have a little bit of a letdown. And Hendricks kind of kept us in between for the first, 5. He can do that. And, you get 3, and then they tie it. And can't say enough about Yariel and Chad. I mean, these guys are running on fumes. And big double play from Yari, big strikeout from Yari, and then Chad, runner at second, you're kind of banking on one to score. He made huge pitches to Trout and Ward. It's cool. It's cool when you can do it in different ways. You know what I mean? I always say I think it's pretty sustainable when there's not one way to do it. So even little things like George going first to third on Bo's hit and then allowing that extra run, with Addy putting the ball in play, everything you need everything on nights like tonight.
On Lauer, when he came up, he was kind of like a length stopgap guy for you. To now, how have your expectations for him changed over the last couple of months?
A lot, man. I mean, he can pitch. I feel like I say that after every time he pitches, I say he can pitch. But he executed at an extremely high rate tonight. Gave us exactly what we needed. Tried to sneak a few more outs out of him there in the 7th. Weird swinging bunt from Trout and then the double, but he's taken advantage of an opportunity for sure. And I think with each outing, his confidence is growing, and I think with each outing, our confidence in him is growing. So awesome stuff from him tonight.
And then Jimenez had to come out there. Is that the same ankle? Or
yeah, same ankle. I thought we kind of dodged a bullet there. With how he was feeling earlier, and then. I think just getting first to third, test it out a little bit. He's going to get an MRI tonight and just see what's going on really, and we'll go from there.
Between Bassett last night, kind of gutting through some extra pitches there, the sack bunts today, there are some recent examples of guys kind of putting the team ahead of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that's just a recent development, but do you think that that's happening more recently, or has that kind of been happening all year for you guys? What's your impression of that?
Yeah, I think it's been happening pretty consistently all year. It's easy to highlight it, I think, in the last couple weeks for sure. And, I talk about it a lot. These guys don't care who it is, and they don't care how we do it. And that is a really good quality to have when you're playing every single night and when you're in the middle of 16 games in a row. So, I think that's kind of how it's how we're built a little bit, and I love the way the guys are kind of feeding into it a little bit with each and every night.
And I know you want to hit home runs and have your guys hit home runs as well, and you guys are capable of that, but you also lead Major League Baseball in sack bunts at this point with the walk-off sack bunt tonight. Is that in a way like kind of on brand that you guys are doing things on both ends of the offensive spectrum? Yeah,
I think so. I'll steal a quote from David Popkins from spring training. Great offenses can score in a lot of different ways, and they don't have one way to beat you. So, yeah, I think that's kind of on brand. I know we're up there, and with the sack bunts, I don't love it. You know what I mean? It's on paper, it's not the best option a lot of times, but I think with the personnel we have, you can put a lot of pressure on the defense when you get guys at third with the contact we can make.
John, you may have just answered this there, but once Lucas ends up walking there, is there any temptation to just maybe let Ernie take a shot there because of his contact ability? How did you think that through?
Yeah. Again, I think it's personnel driven and who can do what. I was tempted to let Nate swing and just take 3 shots. You know, our last pitcher was last, you know, if the game still was tied. So I think you kind of just run down, you know, what guys can do. You know, Lukey can bunt. You know, he can get him over. You know, he can maybe get him in with a hit. At that point, you're kind of banking on, you know, if Nate gets the bunt down, if it's not ball 4, you're banking on Ernie's contact skills. And you're going on contact with Miles, who can run. So, yeah, it kind of just depends on who can do what is the best way to answer it.
And you saw the way you guys put pressure on the other team. You saw it there with the bunt, obviously, and the forcing the throw. Probably on the Barger ball that scores the 3rd run too, where you know Neto knows that he's getting up the line, doesn't have a lot of time to make the play. Just what role do you feel the pressure that you guys have established has played within your success?
I think that is one of the things that makes us sustainable. You know, it's defenses. My opinion is you can't take anything for granted with the way we get down the line. Something that we take a lot of pride in, something that I'm very proud about the way the guys are doing it. And you know, in that same play, it's George going first to third. He has to kind of freeze, make sure the ball isn't caught, and then you know just kind of pushes the envelope a little bit. So it starts with you know how you prep for the series and knowing who you can run on and who you can't. And we wanted to be aggressive with their outfield. So if George doesn't do that, I think it's probably a different story. And if Addy hasn't busted his ass down the line for the entirety of his big league career, it probably makes the play a little bit easier for Neto.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.